achieved.
Well, welcome into Studio Day Heffrey, Day Quarantine, where today we will preview Cowboys and Falcons Week 2. Cowboys got to get a dub or the season's over. Why do I have my pillow on my chair? I don't need my pillow. Some call it a gaming chair. I say it's for my lumbar spine. It's for proper posture. That's what I'm going with. All right, let's do this. The way I like to preview a game is when the Cowboys run, when the Cowboys pass, when the Falcons run, when the Falcons pass. Who has the advantage? We will start with your Dallas Cowboys. Injury concerns are going to be the big problem here, but regardless, when you look at the Atlanta Falcons secondary, Keanu Neal, their strong safety, is a youngster in the league. I was a big fan of his coming out of the draft. And as a youngster, he played really well. Not as well more recently, which is kind of strange, but still a solid player. DeMonte Kazee, their other safety, okay, not terrible. But in their secondary, they've got big-time problems because you also have to play cornerbacks in football. You don't just play safeties. You also play corners. And their combination of corners, obviously in week 1, they got torched by Russ, but that could be a little bit strange. Because like everybody else in the world, they probably thought the Seahawks were going to come out and run the ball 900 times until it was 17-17 in the fourth quarter and then let Russ cook. But they let Russ cook right away, caught people off guard. Regardless, the Falcons' secondary as a whole is not good. Not good at all. Their pass defense is atrocious. So this is a big week for Dak and that wide receiver core. The wild card here, can you protect your quarterback? I heard Mike McCarthy talking about Tyron Smith today, and he said he's not alarmed right now, but also, I mean, look, saying I'm not alarmed right now, that scares me. Just tell me he's fine. Say he's fine. You put Tyron Smith on an injury report, and it says neck, I get concerned, okay? But the advantage is still to the Cowboys' passing game. What they got to do, though, is one of two things. One of two. Like, either give me the pre-snap eye candy or give me tempo. Because some of you guys astutely, I might add, pointed out in the last video that if you're doing a bunch of the pre-snap moving around stuff, it's hard to do that when you're going up tempo. They didn't do either. Pick one. Give me something. Kellen and McCarthy, and some of you also pointed out that we don't have to just blame Mike McCarthy. Kellen Moore is the OC. And I think the Joneses wanted to keep Kellen Moore. So, yeah, Kellen Moore gets plenty of blame for the offense in week 1, but figure it out. Go fast or move people. You have two choices. If you don't do either of those, you will be held accountable by me talking into a video to my 21 percenters, by the way. Congratulations, we've crossed the threshold. We have now reached the Zeke levels, which means Emmett is next. To be part of the 21 percenters now, you just click on the bell, turn on the notifications at youtube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. So when the Cowboys pass, it is advantage Cowboys. When the Cowboys run is a little trickier this week because Grady Jarrett for the Atlanta Falcons is one of the best non-Aaron Donald defensive tackles in football. Tack McKinley is a solid player, one of their ends. Dante Fowler is a solid player, one of their ends. Kaminsky, I guess if they're a nickel, would be their fourth defensive lineman. He's young, if I have the right guy, right? He's the guy that I studied this guy in the draft, right? And I kind of liked him. Yeah, John Kaminsky's in his second year. Had a good rookie year. They're not bad on the defensive front. And Deion Jones is a really good linebacker. So they've got one really good linebacker. And then they've got, how do I pronounce? Oluokun is their other linebacker who I don't know as much about. He is a third-year player, former sixth-round pick out of Yale, and graded out okay so far in his career as an okay player. So their giant weakness is the secondary. You also had Zeke and Pollard run the ball great in week 1. Not necessarily in yards per carry. I know when you look back at it, Zeke had 4.4, but individually he played great. Pollard played great. So my only hesitation with when the Cowboys run is how well are you going to block for him? Is Tyron Smith going to play? Is Connor Williams going to play better than he played in week 1? Is Steele your right tackle again, or is it Brandon Knight? And how are they going to do in the run game? And pass protection, you had 3 different dudes struggle last week, and you can't have that again. In the run game, they got to use the pass to set up the run, like Cleveland did. Cleveland did this last night. By the way, Baker's back. I'm back on the bandwagon. Baker's going to be good. So is Burrow. That was a fun game. Anybody out there, Gavin Dawson, who pretends that wasn't a good matchup to watch, give me Bengals-Browns all the time. That was a fun game to watch. 3 of the best running backs in football. 2 number 1 overall picks. Maybe the best pass rusher in the game, Myles Garrett. We're watching the end of A.J. Green's career. You see how long it takes him to stand up after every play where he hits the ground now? That was a fun matchup. I really enjoyed it. When the Cowboys run, I'm going to say push. I think they can run it well. The wild card is just how good of a job are you going to do opening up holes and getting to the second level to try to erase Deion Jones. I will say that is a push for now. Now, let's flip it over. When the Falcons pass, who has the advantage? Here's the wild card there. The Cowboys can't cover Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. Their secondary is not good enough. Trayvon Diggs had a promising opening to his career. I thought Cheeto had a solid game. Anthony Brown, But you now have choices. Jordan Lewis is ready, so you have Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis, and then you have Darryl Worley and whoever else. But I anticipate you'll be running out the same 3 guys. Trayvon Diggs, Cheeto, Anthony Brown, with Jordan Lewis probably playing some snaps as well. And Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones are freaking awesome. It's about as good as a 1-2 gets in the NFL. We talk about the Cowboys receiver core, but with Amari Cooper now having a foot injury after week 1. So that thing's going to last for 17 weeks. Get ready. Their 1-2 is awesome. And Russell Gage had a big game last week, their slot receiver. So if you were talking about a wide receiver versus secondary matchup, the Falcons are winning that bad boy big time. But that's not all that goes into the passing game. Matt Ryan will hold the ball. He wants to push the ball downfield, and he's going to have protection. So an offensive line where they've invested a lot of picks. The 2019 draft, they drafted Lindstrom and McGarry, both in the first round with multiple first-round picks. Those haven't panned out so far. They have not been quality NFL starters. Mack, their center, he's been good through his career. It's been a really long career, and in week 1, he wasn't great. Their left side is better, so this could be a big week for Tank Lawrence there at left defensive end going against a right tackle. Maybe Hayden Hurst will be in there helping a little bit. But pass rush is going to be the key, which is why I think for the Cowboys the important thing is going to be, and this is going to be the important thing every week, you're an offensive team. Score a bunch of points. Make Atlanta chase you. Because if Atlanta has to chase and you know that they're in passing situations all the time, yes, their wide receivers are dangerous, but you can attack the quarterback. And if you're attacking the quarterback and not having to worry about balance and them trying to dink and dunk their way down the field and you can get after the quarterback, you can beat up on this offensive line. So when the Falcons pass, I will say slight advantage Falcons because I don't like the matchup of Ridley and Julio Jones against the Cowboys secondary. But just know that if you get a lead, that can change because you could really be getting after the quarterback. When the Falcons run, let me get their stats from last week because my inclination is that if I'm basing it off of their offensive line and their running back, I would say it's not an advantage for the Falcons because Todd Gurley, you're never going to know. For the rest of his career, you're not going to know week to week, I think, what version of him you're going to get. I can say that because I have a terrible knee that day to day, you just don't know what's going to happen when you wake up. So they were 4 yards per carry last week with literally every back. Gurley was 4 per carry. Brian Hill, Ito Smith, they were all 4 yards per carry. Their line, not great as run blockers. But the Cowboys also, they're not great as run stoppers. I mean, defensive tackle play last week wasn't good. Linebacker play wasn't good. Your bright spot was really Aldon Smith. That was a unique game plan. The Falcons will be a different game plan. And I do think that Aldon Smith, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Everson Griffin can all be really good run defenders. Dontari Poe can be okay. Tristan Hill had an okay game in week 1. If he can build on that, you've got a chance there. So I will say when the Falcons run the ball, I'm going to go push because I don't feel great about the Falcons' ability to run it, and I don't feel great about the Cowboys' ability to stop it. So when you just go Cowboys pass, Cowboys run, Falcons pass, Falcons run, to me, you come away from that exercise, you pick the Cowboys by that much in this game. Protection is going to be really key. But I'm going to pick the Cowboys, and because I'm not super confident in how they're going to be able to protect the quarterback, I'm going to say the Cowboys are going to score 27 in this one, and the Falcons is either 23 or 24. Do we want to go 14 and then 3 field goals to get to 23, or do we want to go 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal to go to 24? 27, 23 Cowboys will be my prediction for this game. All right, let's get to your mailbag. Should we be more worried about their receivers than they are ours? That is from Book Juice 22. Push. Their secondary is bad, and your wide receivers are really good. I might say the Cowboys should be more worried about the Falcons receivers, only because I know Julio Jones has been on the injury report for them, but Amari Cooper has a track record of when he's on the injury report and he's not able to practice, he doesn't perform real well in games. So, yeah, I think that's fair. You should probably be a little more worried about their receivers than they are about the Cowboys' receivers. Riley, do you think Aldon Smith would take a discount on a deal since the Cowboys are the team to give him another chance at doing what he loves? No, because players don't do that. I mean, very occasionally a player will do that, but a discount depends on the season. If you're telling me he has 12 to 15 sacks, what kind of discount? Because 12 to 15 sacks, even at his age, is going to get him better than $15 million a year. Maybe not a really long-term deal, but, boy, that'll get you paid. And if you're thinking the Cowboys are going to get him on a nickel and dime deal, no, you would have to pay. And it's okay either way, because even if Aldon Smith had a great year and then walked in free agency, you would get a third-round comp pick for a guy that you took a chance on that cost you nothing and you got a good year out of him. That's okay. But if you could find a way to keep him and he could become dominant for the Cowboys for the next 2 or 3 years, that would be great. Joe, similar question. He said, let's say Aldon Smith gets 15 sacks this year. What do you think he will command on the open market, and do you think we'll be able to retain him? I sure hope so. Looked like he had no rust to knock off. Thanks, man. Cowboys fan in Giant Country. Zeke better than Saquon. At least $15 million. Because the difference between Aldon Smith, if he gets to double-digit sacks, and Robert Quinn, take Robert Quinn's contract and add $5 million a year. $3 to $5 million a year. Because I think Smith also, with his natural power and length and size, is a better run defender than Robert Quinn, and he can be as good or better a pass rusher. So it'll be big money. Jimmy, do you think when Randy Gregory gets back, you'll see Nolan employ a 5-man front with 4 edge rushers? It's possible. I think, to me, what you would do is when you get Randy Gregory back starting in week 7, in theory, is if you get teams in 3rd and long, the 4 guys that you put on the field are Randy Gregory, Aldon Smith, Tank Lawrence, Everson Griffin. And then if you want to send a 5th, I would just bring Jalen Smith. Because I would much rather have him making sure the ball gets out quickly than being responsible for part of the coverage when the ball does get out. Let me see here. Jacob, do you think that they don't want much motion to speed the game tempo up? I know when the Cowboys played fast, we played pretty well. I would be fine with that explanation if they played fast. They only played fast once, so that doesn't work for me. You got to do something. Give me something. Don't give me a stationary, boring, slow offense. Either get to getting, get to stepping, or get to moving. Those are your choices. Houston, are we dead or what this week? No, not dead. Chasman. Hey, Jeff, love the show. Did some research on play calling this game. Please let me know what you think. First half, the ratio on running to throwing on first down was 6 to 10. 6 runs, 10 throws. In the second half, the ratio was 10 to 6. Talk about the effect it had on offensive success and Zeke getting 16 of 22 carries on first down. Yeah, the Cowboys came back on that drive and go into halftime with a lead, and they come out and get the ball, and they go run, 3rd down. I don't understand that. It screamed Jason Garrett to me, so maybe that needs to scream Kellen Moore to us. A 1-point lead, and you just flew down the field on them, and now you want to rein in the offense? I don't understand it. Jay Money, here we go bashing the coaching staff again. When will the players be held accountable? No more excuses. Jay Money, listen here, sir. Sir, may I call you sir? I hold the players accountable. Jalen was awful. Vander Esch was awful and got hurt. Joe Thomas was okay. Anthony Brown wasn't good enough. Dontari Poe wasn't good enough. Tristan Hill wasn't good enough, but I think because of expectations coming into this year, it kind of was good enough, so he can build on that. Steele wasn't good enough. Martin wasn't good enough. Looney was probably good enough. Tyron was good enough. Connor Williams wasn't good enough. Dak was good, but you could have gotten a little better out of him. There were a couple of plays left unmade from him. So, sure, Dak wasn't good enough. Gallup was fine. Cooper was drops. Cooper wasn't good enough. CD didn't run a deep enough route once. CD wasn't good enough. Like, stop pretending that I'm saying that all the players were amazing and the coaching staff was the only failure. Part of your failure was that your players, some of them aren't good enough to do the job, and some of them didn't do the job last week. But it's 0-1. You don't freak out about it. You talk about the things that you can fix, and some of those easiest things do revolve around the coaching staff. Grant, love the show. 20% are here. 21 now. Shooting for 22. Click the bell. If we need a 3 technique, has anybody looked into David Irving? You got to be pretty desperate to go the David Irving route. But I tell you what, for a guy who couldn't possibly care any less about football, he's got all the ability in the world. There was a big difference between David Irving and Randy Gregory. One was a great teammate who really wants to be a great teammate and really enjoys football, and one wasn't. So if you got desperate enough, and with the new policies in the league, if David Irving was reinstated and the Cowboys signed him for peanuts to hope for the best, cool. I'm always down for that move. I'll sign anybody. Give him a chance, see what happens. If not, send him home. It's cool. All right, that'll do it today. Cowboys-Falcons preview. Leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. I will try to take care of you. And make sure that you're subscribed, youtube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. You're checking out G-Bag Nation from 2 to 7, Monday through Friday on 105.3 The Fan. Tell a friend about me, about us. If you get 3 friends to subscribe and leave in the comments who sent them, I'll drink a beer with you one day when this is all over. You know. I love you. Bye.